Hello, welcome to this update for the Atlantic. So let's see what's happening. We now have tropical storm Rafael that was upgraded to a tropical storm yesterday, and there's this other area that we are watching. So Rafael just passed Jamaica there, but there's still somewhere rain and gusty winds. And let's just quickly see this other area. It's around 30% in the next 7 days. A tropical low pressure producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms east northeast of the Leeward Islands portions, and parts of the system is forecast to move westward during the next day or so. This could form a low pressure near the Leeward Islands by Thursday. Afterwards, some slow development of the system is possible during the latter part of the week, where it moves generally westward over the southwestern Atlantic. So 30%. We are watching that maybe for the Greater Antilles and the Bahamas. And there's Rafael there. So just past Jamaica, there's still some tropical storm force winds there. It shows tropical storm warnings in Cuba, central Cuba, in Jamaica. The hurricane warnings in the Cayman Islands, so it's already strengthening more. And the hurricane warnings most of eastern Cuba, and the tropical storm watches like west, no, central to eastern Cuba. And already have tropical storm warnings in the Keys there in Florida, so be aware. But this is forecast to generally head towards like the central Gulf or something, but we have many models showing different things, so I'll show you in a second. Rafael's is forecast to be near hurricane intensity when it passes near or over the Cayman Islands tonight, where damaging hurricane force winds and dangerous storm surge and destructive waves are expected. Rafael could reach western Cuba and the island of Youth on Wednesday, where hurricane warning is in effect for this region. Life-threatening storm surge and destructive waves are also expected. Tropical storm conditions in Jamaica through this afternoon. Tropical storm conditions are expected in the lower middle Florida Keys beginning Wednesday night. It's too soon to determine what, if any, impacts will Rafael could pose to the northern Gulf Coast, but residents in those areas should regularly monitor for updates in the forecast. Rafael will bring areas of heavy rain across parts of the Western Caribbean through early Thursday, and including the islands of Jamaica and Cayman Islands, along with southern portions of Cuba. Flash flooding and mudslides are possible in higher terrain in Jamaica and Cuba, especially when it heads to Cuba, it will be stronger, so be careful more flooding there. So let's see. Se pronostica que Rafael está cerca de intensidade de huracán quando passa cerca sobre las Islas Caimán. É, para esta noite, assim, se esperam ventos daninhos, coisa de huracán e marrada ciclônica perigosa e olas destructivas. Rafael debe llegar al oeste de Cuba y la isla de la Juventud el miércoles. Un aviso de huracán está en efecto para esta región, donde también se espera marejada ciclónica que amenaza la vida y olas destructivas. Se esperan condiciones de tormenta tropical en Jamaica. Hasta esta tarde se esperan condiciones de tormenta tropical en los Cayos de Florida a partir de miércoles por la noche. Es demasiado pronto para determinar qué impactos Rafael podía tener personas de costa norte del Golfo. Si los hay, los residentes de esta área deben monitorar el pronóstico regularmente. Rafael trae áreas de fuertes lluvias a través de porciones del Caribe Occidental hasta el jueves temprano, incluyendo las islas de Jamaica y las Caimán, junto con porciones del oeste de Cuba. Son posibles inundaciones repentinas, deslizamientos de tierra en el terreno más alto, principalmente de Cuba, pero en Jamaica también. Good, so stay safe there. We already have like 1 to 2 feet of storm surge near lower Florida Keys, and dry Tortugas 1 to 3 feet of storm surge, so be aware there as well. The rainfall expectation is still 150 to 200 millimeters near West End in the Cayman Islands and parts of the islands near Cuba, and close to 100 to 150 millimeters near like Western Cuba, and that orange area is actually 200 millimeters close, like 150 200 near the Cayman Islands, and Jamaica so like 100 or so, and more, so be careful there. And the tropical storm force winds probabilities in Jamaica, of course, very high in Cuba, and already some in lower Florida, some slight probabilities, especially in the Keys there. So be aware, the hurricane force winds probabilities mainly there in Cuba, maybe dry tortugas 5%, but mainly the Cayman Islands and Cuba there. So be aware, and 50 knot winds plus a lot in Cuba and some the Keys maybe, and western Jamaica. So be careful. The Cayman Islands especially shows some very high gusts passing through there, and yeah, stay safe. So this is Tropical Storm Rafael. You can see that heavy rain in Jamaica still, and the global plus hurricane models. There are two of them still showing western Gulf, but most of them like curve west and then curve back into like Louisiana, Mississippi. But we'll kind of need to watch that curve there for like Florida or something. But you mainly go to like Mississippi or Louisiana. So let's see. The Dashua tropical storm now will reach category 1 by like 24 hours, or even less, 12 hours. And then by like 72 hours you start weakening again to a tropical storm, and when it reaches the northern Gulf Coast, might be a moderate to weak tropical storm, and shows even category 2 possible before Cuba there. So be careful. There's some GFS members that take this journey towards Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, but some still linger in the Western Gulf, and some Canadian members concentrated in the Northern Gulf. So be aware those areas. Now let's see. So here, this is the GFS. So it does have it there near Jamaica, passes the Cayman Islands and a hurricane Cuba. Then the GFS now going towards Louisiana is a weak tropical storm there, getting caught into a front. And the GFS yet again has another system later in the Caribbean doing some crazy stuff there, but don't mind that strength. 915 is like total hallucination. This won't happen. So yeah, but the other system that they tagged, it does have maybe a tropical storm near the northern Great Antilles there by like Friday. So we'll watch that too, but it shows it passing over the southern Bahamas and kind of dissipates. So be aware. Maybe here the zeros the European does show the storm there in Cuba, and especially Jamaica, is there in Jamaica now, the Cayman Islands, and then Cuba. Then it does take this still into the Western Gulf, the European, and it does have that disturbance near the northern Greater Antilles, but it doesn't really form into any consolidated cycle. There's the Canadian, does have Rafael there, goes through Cuba. The Canadian still has a tropical storm, so don't mind that strength. It'll definitely be a hurricane as it passes through Cuba, and then it dissipates in the Gulf. But the Canadian is kind of developing the next system near the Turks and Caicos too, and it also bringing it to southern Florida, the remnants of this. So yeah, we have to monitor, but it doesn't have anything later like the GFS has. So there's the eye go to, has Rafael there, goes, passes Cuba as a hurricane, then goes there, and the eye still dissipating in kind of the Western Gulf, like the European, and the icon has the next disturbance there, just north of Hispaniola, but struggles a lot to become something. So yeah, there's the European AI model or something. So it does show Rafael there, goes Western Gulf, dissipates, and better see this different one here. So where so that's Rafael that there now it goes. It does have the disturbance there near the Greater Antilles, but it doesn't form, not even in the AI model, doesn't form into anything. It does have a low pressure going near the Yucatan on November 13th, but probably not anything crazy. So be aware of those areas, and yeah. So the ensembles from the European next 240 hours mainly take this west near the Western Gulf, and like, but most like if it goes into the US, it'll be mainly near Louisiana or Mississippi there. It shows a member two shows Florida, but mainly Louisiana and Mississippi. This is interesting that the European members, they are going to like the Bay of Campeche again to very high, that's very high intensity, those colors there. So that's interesting. It's a similar pace to what Milton was. So let's see. There's the GFS ensembles next 240 hours. So it does take Rafael there through Cuba. Most of them just like dissipate in Louisiana. Some go further west, but they mainly go towards the northern Gulf. So yeah, in the GFS is a parade of low pressures trying to form into something in the southern Caribbean later. So we might need to watch that. Now let's see. Maybe for uh, precipitation, I'll just leave this right here, like North Atlantic. Good. So let's see. There's first the wind gusts. Let's take a look. So this is the European, still shows some strong winds in Jamaica there, especially western Jamaica and some areas. And the Cayman Islands already shows some 83 km per gusts in West End, in Georgetown, just like so 4 or 5 km per gust, but very strong in West End, and it goes all the way up to like Spot Bay to 125 km per gust occasionally there. So be careful. More than 100 km per gust in both of those islands. This is like tonight and early Wednesday. Then this goes there. Still some strong gusts there, and near like this island near East End. That shows some 63 km per gust Wednesday, like Wednesday night morning. It does show that in Cayo Largo in Cuba, some very high gusts on Wednesday. This goes increases all the way to 129 km per gust. So be careful there with the waves, the storm surge, and those high winds. And then it passes there western Cuba. Does show more than 128 km per gust there. And in Havana, some 77 km per gust. This goes there, and like this is by the end of Thursday, shows some very high gusts for western Cuba, and the Keys shows like some some 42 mile per hour gusts in Key West. In Dry Tortuga, some 43 mile per hour gusts, but they might increase temporarily on Thursday morning to 46 mile per hour gusts in Dry Tortugas, and then this goes there. But it's just one model. Some other models might have a different. This is the GFS. Uh, passes there in the Cayman Islands. It, it doesn't have as high gusts as the European. It does have some, like 108 km per gust in Cuba there. It goes and does have like more than 125 km per gust in Cayo Largo. This goes through western Cuba, more than 113 km per gust in Havana. So this will be more problem for Havana there, and it does have like near the Keys close to 44 mile per gust, 44 mile per gust. So yeah, be aware in those areas, especially in Cuba and those other areas. So now that's the wind, but there'll be the destructive waves as well, like 5 meter plus in West End there. So be aware the Cayman Islands. This goes around Cayo Largo and parts of Cuba, 4 meter waves, and then when this gets close to 5 meter waves there, and some other parts of southern Cuba, 3 to 4 meter waves too, and then this goes Wednesday, because there this islands protecting this area here, so it doesn't show much wave action in that area, but the waves do pick up again in the Gulf, shows near like uh, doesn't show much waves there, but there'll be some high waves near like the Keys and those areas. So be aware. And when this is in the Gulf and even now in the Caribbean, might generate some swells and whip currents. So be aware of that as well. And now the rainfall, the different models. There's the European model up until Sunday. It does have, like in Jamaica, still some heavy rain, more than 50 millimeters in some areas. Beware of the heavier storms. It does show the Cayman Islands in West End close to 161 millimeters. This is the other island, like some 178 millimeters. So be careful with areas of flooding there. That shows some like 80 millimeters in the island of Georgetown. So be aware. Thus showing Cayo Largo more than 188 millimeters, 193 even. so be careful. Other parts of Western Cuba, 147, 144. In Havana, show 78 millimeters, but in other areas like 149, so be careful. The GFS has this closer to Havana, close to 106 millimeters, but it has like in some other areas further west, 158 millimeters, and more areas there. It does have a does have in parts of some others of Western Cuba, some 150 millimeters and others there, especially Cayo Largo is more than 171 millimeters. So be careful in those areas. It does have in the Cayman Islands more than 100 millimeters, but not as much as the European. The icon is very interesting, it has like 169 millimeters in the Cayman Islands, so be careful there. More around Western Cuba, especially in Cayo Largo, 260 plus, like 260. So be careful with flooding there. Shows in Western Cuba more than 150 millimeters. So be careful. The keys not showing that much in terms of rainfall, but they show like some 2 inches in Key West. So like 1 inch and a half in Marathon. And like the European does have 1 inch and 79 in Key West, and a little bit more in dry tortugas maybe. So be aware, but please be careful with flood in Cuba and even Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. And now in other areas, we still have those trains of showers and storms near, near like the Eastern Caribbean. Shows like some 60 millimeters in Saint Lucia, some 70 millimeters in Martinique, Barbados, some areas close to 50, 60 millimeters next 5 days. So be aware there are more passing showers and storms, especially in the Virgin Islands. Shows more than 100 millimeters, and near Puerto Rico some 80 millimeters. So be aware Northeastern Caribbean some are passing showers and storms, and more storms in the Dominican Republic, especially eastern the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and some areas. So be aware. And does have still some very extreme amounts in Costa Rica, some 432 millimeters, 460. So stay safe in those areas of flooding, landslides, and everything else. Shows in Panama 200 plus millimeters, northern Panama 100, 200 millimeters, even southern Panama in Colombia, some very heavy rains. So stay safe there. The GFS is also like northernmost Colombia, southern Panama, 300 millimeters plus. So be careful, some heavy downpours there. And it has in Costa Rica still like 200 millimeters, 253 millimeters. So stay safe. The GFS is this going to Honduras and Nicaragua, like 166 millimeters in Honduras, 173 in northern Nicaragua. So be careful those storms in those areas too. The European barely has any in Honduras, has just more storms in Nicaragua, maybe southern Honduras. It has more showers and storms in southern Mexico and Guatemala, especially the Pacific, the Yucatan, and some areas. So be careful. Be careful there. The GFS also in the Eastern Caribbean, like 50 to 70 millimeters in some islands. And the icon too, it does have a lot like in Martinique, all the way to 100 millimeters in some islands there, some 70 millimeters in Barbados. And the icon is very like radical with the Northern Caribbean, like 123 millimeters in the Virgin Islands, in Anguilla, Antigua and Barbudas. So be aware of those disturbances there. And as you can see here in the model, there's Rafael there. It goes and does have those disturbances, the eastern, the northeastern Caribbean there, and still those downpours around Costa Rica, Colombia, and Panama in those areas. So be careful there. Just for comparison, the GFS has the downpours in Costa Rica, those areas, but it also has it all the way up to Honduras. So yeah, both models might be right or not. So just be aware in those areas and stay safe from this storm in terms of wind, storm surge, and flooding and everything. Now, just for comparison, the Canadian model, let's see how much rain it has. So like next 120 hours. So it does show this is until next Sunday, just like the other models. It does have some very crazy amounts in Costa Rica still, in Panama, like 200 millimeters, 150, especially in Costa Rica, close to 300. Shows more in Nicaragua, close to 50 to 100 millimeters or even more. has in the Caribbean like 50 to 70 millimeters, some 80 millimeters or more near the northeastern Caribbean.